Zoomed in on you. Should be zoomed in on me. Hey, what's up, everyone? I think we're live. Welcome to Don and Jack Live. It's been a while. Happy Thursday, I guess it is. How are you guys doing? It's been a few weeks since we've been online. Don, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Just staying busy. How about yourself, man? You with me, Jack?
I'm still here. Yep.
Yeah, man. Can't complain. Market's been all right. It's been performing a little bit decent recently, so we've been seeing some positive price action. Look forward to getting back doing these streams with you guys and yourself,
Yeah.
Jack.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a really fun anecdote. You're saying the market's been doing really well. Some of you guys may know that Phil Peary, the guy who I wrote the guy who co-authored the Bitcoin bottom analysis we shared a month ago. We're living together, and on that Soros, like this 1K Bitcoin candle, it was like 5 a.m. in the morning for us. And he came knocking on my door like, Max, dude, you gotta see this. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're waking me up for, but so I came to look, and we were long since 3,400. So that was just, adrenaline everywhere, and like
got up real quick.
that was pretty insane. No, but been really busy. Personally, I've been working on the new portfolio audit and performance audit for Bitcoin Bravado, something we'll share with you guys over the next couple of weeks, something you will be able to use for yourself. It's a really cool tool, completely built in Excel, well, Google Sheets, in fact. So it's going to be really easy for you guys to use that too. But it's to be honest, probably the most extensive complete audit / trade journal portfolio performance, whatever tool there is out there. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. I've also been working on some custom analysis algorithms. So I've been really busy with that, but made some real nice progress. And I want to make a shout out to the CCT guys in our trading educational group. We've welcomed this large open forum of crypto coin traders. They're a Facebook group, and it's been really nice to have them around. These people are really eager to learn, and I think they're having a really good time. So shout out to you guys. Hope we can kick some ass together. I think what are we going to talk about today, Don?
Yeah, we're talking about various things. I know we're going to touch into that audit that you've created, which is extremely extensive, and I look forward to doing that with you. I worked on it a bit, and it's a killer. We'll be going over Bitcoin analysis, what we're looking at on ETH and Bitcoin, and then as well as some new alt setups that we've been eyeing recently that look like they're geared up for a big win here. So you want to jump in and start us off?
Yeah, maybe. Should we give them a sneak peek into the new portfolio audit?
I think so, man. I think they'll like it. It's a heck of an audit, but man, does it do the job?
Okay. Well, let's go. All right. Here's a little sneak peek, guys. So the first page you will end up in is your dashboard, is the first sheet. It shows you your overall all-time P&L portfolio performance since you started. We started trading this audit the 1st of January 2019, and then when you scroll down, you have some really nice graphs that show you some statistics about your trading. But the real juice is in here. It shows you all of your trades. It's fairly automated entirely. It shows your average entry, average close. It auto calculates that off the mutation sheet, and it tells you whether they're open. You can do margin trading, spot trading mixed with each other. As you can see right here, this row was an ETH short back in January, and it does a pretty good job of tracking that. So you can track your performance per trade and see how that does. But the real cool thing is that it's a portfolio balance managing tool. So you can really act as if you're a little fund. Right here will show you automatically calculate your balances. You just input your starting balance, and you have your total balance right here. It tells you how much of that is available, which is not, that means it's not locked in a trade. And then you have your spot locked and margin locked right here. And it auto updates the prices that Bitcoin is trading at. So it also tells you the value of each asset that you own in BTC, expressed in BTC and expressed in USD. So in the trade journal, you can see your starting balance and your current portfolio USD value. And obviously that can be used to calculate your all-time P&L. So this is an overview of all the trades. There's only been 21 trades that we entered since January 1st. And currently we only have 8 trades open. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to start sharing this with you guys. You will be able to use this completely for your own. And the way you record things in this thing is just simply every order that you perform on a trade is logged in here. So for example, the first trade of the year we entered was KMD. You just enter it in a specific way, and then it will just update your balances and your profits and losses. So pretty cool tool. Really excited to share that with you guys. We're probably going to make a really cool video explaining everything, how it works, and then share a link where you can make a copy. So stay tuned for that. You want to jump into Bitcoin?
Yeah, I can jump into Bitcoin. Heck yeah, man. Let's do this. I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Hey, what's up, John and L? Really glad you are in the YouTube chat channel.
What's up, John and L? All right, so Bitcoin, man. Recently had some nice price action, right? We broke out of range, which is nice. We've actually recently developed a new range here that I've identified here. We actually picked up a long on this sweep of this low of this 4783. Look at that snipe to snipe. We took some profits at this red line. But what we're seeing here is, we're trying to break this daily supply here at our equilibrium at 52.52, right? We're fighting with it. Looking on the lower 12-hour time frame here is we can't get over that 52.52. On a little bit lower time frame, 4 hour, we've broken that 52.52. But right now I'm looking for a high time frame confirmation from the 12-hour, the daily of that 52. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's good. So if we just zoom out a little bit, what are we seeing? Like what could people expect from this range? Because I mean, trading the 4 hour or the 12 hour, I think what people are most interested in is to know, like, are we going up or down? What is your thought on that?
I think we're going up. We've been trading in between some supply and demand, right? There's some daily supply up here at 55.95, and there's even higher supply around 6K. So I think we're headed in that direction, no question. It's going to be a bumpy road, no doubt about that one. What do you think, Jack?
Well, I've been an Uber bull for a while now. I've been an Uber bull ever since we hit 3,400 levels. After the rally we saw from 3,100, and then we retraced to 33 something. I've been an Uber bull ever since, and what I've been trying to do and I've been trying to become better at is theorizing how big money is moving in this market and trying to analyze how and where they entered and what their average entries are. So basically for me, it comes down, I need to zoom out and really look at how price has moved since the top. And considering the fact that I do think that we've seen a capitulation from the 6K range to the 3K range, and then got suppressed below like 41, 42, 4,300. That makes me believe that, let me share my screen.
Yeah, here, I'll stop sharing mine. Yeah, that daily supply is sitting pretty and untouched.
Let's see if I can get myself on screen. I should be visible here. So basically there's this large orange purple box. And what I do think is there was a huge difference between 2014 bear market and this one. And essentially the first real big difference is that back then we had our capitulation, which was also like around 50% drop in price. But what happened back then is that price managed to bounce up from the bottom almost all the way to where it broke down. And if you look here, Bitcoin was suppressed below the 0.38 Fibonacci retracement level of our breakout level to the bottom, which makes me think that a lot of people shorted at the top of that range, and that below that level there has been a lot of accumulation. Breaking out of that level makes me incredibly bullish, as there is a certain average entry of whales to be defended. So if we look at let me find this chart.
Yeah, that monthly's super interesting too on Bitcoin. If you want
the monthly is super interesting. Yeah, I do think I have a chart of that somewhere laying around somewhere too. But what I've been trying to do is come up with a theory to analyze average entries in certain important swing levels for Bitcoin. So if we look at this chart right here, at 38.74, we had our last swing low before we actually reached up high. And the orange line that is drawn by this indicator that I've been working on lately is pretty much the average position if big money entered of their position. So breaking that, going below that, is going to make me bearish. So essentially that means breaking below 4,800 to 4880 is going to make me bearish, because that means these whales are not protecting their positions. So either they were never into a position and it was all a fake out, or they have been distributing and we're going to trade lower. And in that case, I do think to find liquidity, we have to zoom out on this chart. But honestly, if you think about it, to find like liquidity for the whales, we'll probably will have to sweep the lows, because if we retrace here, every retail trader will buy the dip. And if every retail trader buys the dip, it's going to be impossible for them to buy as well. They cannot buy when everyone else is buying. They need to buy when everyone is selling. So their goal is to create and engineer liquidity. And if we break down from this current level, I honestly do think that liquidity is going to be found below 3K. So if purple was accumulation, and as you've seen on the other chart, the average entries that have been made have been respected, have not been broken down, so they've been defended. The only logical assumption from there on is that we have to trade higher. So I do think we're going to trade higher, but my invalidation level is very clear and very clean. It sits between $4,700 to $4,800. So if we go there, I'm not going to buy the dip at 4.2. I'm not going to buy the dip at 3.5. I'm going to wait to see either large interest from big money, so big moves with a lot of volume to identify a support, or I'm going to wait for liquidity to be swept below 3K, because that's probably then where we're going to be trading. So for now, I'm really bullish. There's a wick of accumulation. If this was wick off, the target would be probably near 8.5 or even higher. Well, we're talking 6 months maybe. You know, I'm not saying that we're going to go there straight from here, but that's probably the target where distribution will happen. So for now, that's not invalidated yet, and I'm going to stick to it.
And definitely we kind of want to see a top actually create, and find local, identify local price action for a downtrend to continue and begin. So.
So hopefully we'll be able to. I mean, I'm personally long. I closed my long at around 5K from 3,400, and I re-entered my long at 5K again. And I mean, but if like, it's what are alts gonna do, bro? What are alts gonna do? What's your take on that?
That's a really good question, man. I think we're in a spot. Really, recently we just saw, that move up from Bitcoin, and we saw a bunch of alts just retrace, heavily. And I think in this next month or so, these alts are in prime positions to begin filling bags. I don't think, if we move up to 6K here, or 5,800, 5,600, whatever it may be, our next move, I don't think it's going to affect the alt market that heavily, to be honest. Especially with some of the alts, they've already taken some heavy damage. How much more damage can they take, right?
I mean, they're back into this range where for the last 8 months there has been support. So it kind of looks like an accumulation range. And to be honest, like everyone has been really bullish on alts, and I think they're right to be bullish on alts, but I don't think has been the time yet to be bullish on all alts. I think there were a couple of alts like ADA looked really good, Litecoin looked really good, Bcash at a certain point in time started to really perform well. But if you look at the average of all the alts, if you look at every shitcoin, a lot of them have not shown the strength yet of a breakout. So we've seen KMD, for example, print some kind of Wickofian accumulation range and actually break out of it, show some signal of strength. VeChain, same thing. So these are still, these are trading above their accumulation range on top of support right now. The other ones haven't broken out. So I think that's yet to come for them. And them being back in that range, mid-range, is indeed, I have to agree with you, probably, you know, it's probably going to affect them less. But let's say, you know, like if Bitcoin prints another $1,500 candle, it's definitely going to have some impact. But I do think that it's going to be a buying opportunity for alts.
Absolutely.
By that dip.
Yeah, I agree completely.
That's good.
A lot of these alts retrace to, you know, some high time frame demand, and it's just sitting there juicy. You know, ADA being one, and another one being ZIL, EOS. Like these big cap alts are looking all right, and especially Ethereum. I mean, we recently just took a trade on Ethereum in our Discord and hit. So you want to go over that?
Yeah, let's move forward with ETH, and there is the restless native in the chat. He's asking us how we would play BNB. So let's put that on our list of requests. Okay. Let's jump into ETH, bro. You want to go over it?
Yeah, I could go over ETH. Cool. All right, so here's ETH. You see my screen, right?
I can see your screen.
All right, wonderful. Here's what I'm looking at Ethereum right now, guys. Okay, so we actually took a position at 161.20. All right, we're still in our long position. We've taken profits, but notice how we actually just broke out above this SR flip, right? We broke above this block and closed above EQ. We're retesting this equilibrium at 170.85 to the T, right? We're seeing some resistance here, trading between some supply and demand, right? What I'm looking for here, like if I was not in a position, which I am in an Ethereum long, right? If I'm not in a position here just yet, I'm looking for a bit more downside. You know, I'm looking for it to potentially fill some orders, you know, in this region. This 4-hour block.
What's that region?
I'm sorry?
What's the region? Can you
Yeah, the region is between 168 and 166.70 is where I would fill my stop loss below this 4-hour pivot, this 4-hour bullish order block pivot demand, whatever you different names. But this baby needs to hold up for this whole structure to remain intact, right? This is where we pivoted off of. Price took us higher, and this is a clean 4-hour market structure break, guys. Okay, so it's expected that it's anticipated that we do see a little bit downside here, but like I said here, this level must hold. This high at 168.50. That's why I have potentially a first entry, a first opportunity to make an entry, and this might be the last one before we really take off. And I would be targeting 187 at this point. These highs, maybe even, let's see, this high over here at 187.60. To be safe, go 187, right? But this is fairly bullish, guys, on Ethereum.
Let's zoom out a little bit, because me, I'm more of a swing trader. Yeah. I like to sleep at night, so I base my trades of I don't mind sitting in a trade for a month.
This is from a high time frame perspective. We created a daily range. We've been bouncing around. We haven't swept the lows, right? Similar to Bitcoin, right? And we swept the highs again. We held our equilibrium. We didn't even retest it, okay? Which we finally got a high time frame break, daily break above, back tested it, and we wanted to trade higher. Notice how we have a little bit supply here daily. So one thing,
we broke it. We made higher high right there. So that's a bullish signal to me personally. Right. And then retesting our previous highs. I call that order block pairing. If you think about whales, they cannot move in as easy. So sometimes they still have shorts, but price trades higher than a certain block of shorts they took. So what they need is price to come back into the levels where they went short initially, and then they have to mitigate these shorts. They have to swap these shorts so they can actually go net long, because otherwise they won't be able to profit. So really, if you zoom out a little bit again, Don, the way I see this chart is we had this two highs of that range you were talking about, and the moment we broke out of it, they could not really keep price even below that order block there, but they had to push price back into support to get an opportunity to swap their shorts for longs if they had any shorts left. So it's at this point, it needs to bounce. If we see a bounce here, we know there is some kind of institutional whale money who swapped the last bit of shorts they had for longs. And that means that we're probably going to trade towards the $200, $215 range in due time, which is the kind of trading I personally prefer. It makes me sleep at night.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at this why I even took this long, it's fairly clean. If you look at this, you have a 12-hour block right here, right, with an equilibrium at 158, also concludes with our range high at 159.50, right? This is where we finally broke out. We retested it, swept our low at 157.25, swept it, closed above, and that signals us signals strength.
And then we made a higher high. We made a higher
high. So I mean, it was right in front of you. It's a fairly clean setup. We took this down, closed above, and we went long. So
yeah, let me share the setup I took a long on.
Go ahead.
That was spotlight video. I think we should be good. Here we go. ETH USD. Okay, so for me it was fairly simple. I was just zoomed out on this trade, and I just saw this. I saw a break above, and I just said, okay, somewhere around this range I want to go long. And the first target on this time frame is going to be there's this swing high on the 7th of November, and then there is this last move up here. Let me zoom in on that for you guys. This last move up here, you could argue it's like something like this or like this. If you look at it on the daily, I would just take the last candle up, including the wick high here, and I would assume that that's going to be supply and resistance. So I just took half, the 50% of that, which is 215.45. That's really where if we go up here, we should be trading, because let me explain to everyone who's watching. There is this block of orders right here, and we started to trade lower. Eventually, this block of orders, there were shorts taken right here. It took us to a lower low. So we have a low here, but price traded below. So then we came back up again. We actually broke it, but there were short orders here once again. So what you have to imagine is how these whales trade. They will have to match their orders here, which they try to close down here and down here, but they might not have closed everything. There might not have been enough opportunity to close. So they might have some shorts left right here. So what they want once they break out, they will need to mitigate these shorts, and they created sell pressure right here, and price then came back down. So right here on this wick here, we broke out of above this block. Basically, and then it was pushed back down here. They mitigated this block. Then when we broke out here, they mitigated this block right here. So basically, this bearish order block and this bearish order block now has been mitigated, and it's ready to, in my opinion, fly. And I think this is only going to be the first real.
That's a pit stop.
It's a pit stop. Honestly, I think there's a ton of opportunity above. If I really zoom out, this is my newest indicator. It's called the FAP. It's a volume weighted average of volume weighted averages. And really where I'm looking for price to trade, if this is going to be a reversal, like I'm anticipating for Bitcoin as well, you know, I'm at least expecting this. Look at how this is 204, and then I think there's going to be an opportunity to trade all the way to like $300 eventually. But you know, I'm a swing trader / long-term trader on this. I might up my leverage on it once we go to get around break even, but further risk my profits to make more gains on it. And I sleep at night, and I will make some decent profits anyway. So yeah, I mean, I love ETH. Let's have a little looky at ADA.
Yeah, let me jump into that. I'm kind of a little bit different trader. Nonetheless, I kind of have a little bit of a hybrid. So I do swings and I do intraday as well. So you with me?
Yeah, but I just zoomed in on. You have to.
Okay, cool.
you have to share your screen again.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second.
There we go.
Good?
Yeah,
all right, cool.
We're good.
So here's what I'm looking at on ADA, right? Okay. So we created a range down here, which we had some resistance right here with the block. Okay. And we traded below, we traded high, and we actually completely breached this block where I actually genuinely thought there was going to be some heavy resistance. We broke above, back tested it, and we traded higher. Okay. So if we go into a little bit lower time frame here, and I'm looking at the 3-day here, I'm going to dig into the daily. All right. So here's the daily. What I'm seeing here, here's my setup, guys. There's a low that was created here at 1510 sats. Okay. Also, within that low, you notice how we have our, demand zone. This is where big money, I think, is going to pick up their orders, but there's this low that 1510. So I think, where price is headed is to sweep this low, maybe into this demand EQ, at 1463, right? And I think we're going to trade higher from here, guys. I think once we sweep this low at 1510 sats, I'll be presenting this in the Discord as well here shortly. And I've been writing it in analyst chalk talk for some time now, and I've had my eyes on this baby for, almost a week now. But, this low needs to be swept. And when this low is swept, and if we do dig into this demand a little bit further, I do think we trade higher from there. And I'll be targeting this high at 1945 sats, and as well as some supply up here at 2211. For me, I think this is a clean setup. It provides a good risk reward opportunity. I'm risking, close to 9.6%, close to 10% roughly. And it's in front of us. We've seen kind of a similar setup in the past, where these lows be swept. One of them on Bitcoin.
And remember which one it was?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I think it was. It wasn't Enigma. It wasn't.
You're full of shit. No, but honestly, it's funny though, because we've been having a pretty lengthy discussion today, guys. For everyone who's watching, we were going at each other for at least 30 minutes, saying, "Dude, no, don't take this straight. Yes, take this straight."
Yeah.
It's so funny because we have very similar thoughts on supply demand, very similar ideas on how to approach the market, and still we're different traders. So we use our analysis and we prefer different kind of setups on different time frames. So when we actually agree, which is not always,
not always.
we definitely take a trade. In this case, I personally believe I would personally wait and see the reaction to those levels, because I think that once we break that, once we sweep that low and we are not able to close above it, I do think that we're going to trade lower and that we might see levels. So
you're right. And there's different ways to play this. You could, genuinely stay sideline, wait for that low to be swept, and we regain control of this low at 510. Or you have some bids here and you play it like this, right? There's different ways to actually play this setup. I will be playing this setup at 510 sats to sweep, and I think I have another bid at 1465 just to front run that equilibrium of that demand zone. So I think we're in good shape here, just staying patient and waiting for this low to be swept. And you'll hear me harp on it pretty often, is these lows and these highs, they are important in this market. And you see a lot of price action revolves around these lows and highs from when they're swept. So when you see a setup like this with the low within a demand zone, it gauges my interest that much more.
I understand. So I
Got
think,
something else?
yeah, I wanted to share a little fractal on ADA.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Mm, Where is it? Here it is. So let me share this with you guys. I should be able to see it. So really, what we're seeing on ADA right here, right now, is on ETH. So ADA came down, made a high, retested lows, broke the lows, consolidated, swept these lows again, and started to regain price back to range high. Then it retested the equilibrium of this range twice, and then it started to move up very, very strongly. Let's see. I think 88 did like 83% from that level, which was a great great support if you like to trade, for example, inverse head and shoulders. This is an inverse head and shoulders, ladies and gentlemen, and it has confluence. I love it when it happens, when it kind of reclaims the EQ and then retests it. ETH, on the other hand, looks a little bit differently. This is ETH versus BTC. Let me be clear on that. But it also came down. There was a selling climax. There was this automatic rally off this selling climax. It never managed to actually reach range high, which ADA did. So the difference between ADA and BTC is, of ADA and ETH here, is that ETH made a higher high right here. It was supposed to trade all the way up to retest the range high, but it never did. So people were really bearish on ETH, and ADA managed to actually go there. So for me, the difference in height from this swing high and this swing high, it doesn't really matter. I see them as equals. They're part of the same range. This is a range high. It was an attempt to test range high. It never reached it. Doesn't matter. It did it automatic rally, came back down, consolidated, tried to come back up, and then broke down, had like a capitulation sweep of the low here. And then it started on a rally for range high. And then it pretty much did the same thing. It retested slightly below range EQ, and now it's at that level again. If we look at where ETH is right now, you can see it's trading at and around the 0.6, the 0.618 and the 0.5 of this range. If you say this is the range, it trades above the 0.5. This is very similar to what ADA showed, and honestly, people won't agree with me, but this is where I find context more important than structure of a pattern. But guys, this is an inverse head and shoulders, and I expect ETH versus BTC to trade higher. I expect BTC versus USD to trade higher. So I expect ETH to really explode really, really hard in the next couple of days / weeks. So that's my thoughts on ETH.
Yeah, I mean, I even on my ETH, if I could even show my screen on ETH BTC real quick, just to give you a real quick. All right, cool. You know, this is ETH BTC. What I've been watching here. You know, this range that's been developed. You know, we swept our low, we swept our high. We failed to hold EQ, but we've regained control of this equilibrium. You know, that's, you know, the fourth or fifth step in my process, and we finally, you know, we traded and consolidated just above this our 50% point, right, our equilibrium, and we're just, you know, we tapped below and we're still trading above. I do see some upside, and you know, if you look at this pair, this is, you know, this is one of the pairs that, you know, here, let me create a range here. It's right here, bear with me here.
You know, I have this theory that
so here's
BTC was ready. I have this theory that BTC was actually ready just to smash straight through to 6K, but the same whales currently controlling the BTC market, or are like the most money, had to make BTC slow down because they had to mitigate their ETH shorts. So they suppressed BTC to be able to suppress ETH so they could swap their shorts for longs. And then next, everyone is expecting for alts to dump, because that's what they did, as BTC made a $300 dump, which is insignificant. I think it might actually be the other way around, next move on BTC. But guys, this is very speculative, but I do think there's a good chance that ETH at least is going to run, because ETH has not done the same kind of rally as a Bitcoin Cash has, or a Litecoin has, or ADA. So I think there's a lot of upside for ETH. And you know, when ETH starts running,
alt. Yeah, but to finalize to conclude what I was saying here. So from a high time perspective, we're still above this range. You know, we regained control of this equilibrium right here, right? We retested it again, and you know, we're still from a high time frame weekly, we're good, right? Now what I'm looking for here from an intraday, okay, so I've actually, this is an old range that I've had for a little while now, and what I'm looking for here, I'm not going to just spot entry here. My next move, what I think and logical is, I want to see us regain control of this range low of its intraday. You know, once we regain control of that intraday, that's, you know, that's a strong indication of, you know, some upside continuation. I would look to buy the back test on this range low to take this to much higher prices. And I mean, if you look at this on this ETH chart, look at this baby. I mean, we could really, there's some on the weekly, we've got some clear, you know, clear bearish order block up there. And that's, I don't even know, like 50%, 60% up there, maybe even higher. So there's some clear liquidity levels on Ethereum BTC from a weekly perspective, and it's aligning up for a big monster move. So you'll be hearing this from here on out. You want to go ahead and why are you smiling?
I'm just smiling because I really enjoy the fact how we've analyzed the potential bottom since Bitcoin hit. Since like from the moment Bitcoin went through 4K, we spoke about a potential bottom to be forming between like 2.8 and 3.6, and as time is passing, we're kind of seeing it happen in front of our eyes, and it's just so satisfying that, you know, all this work, all the hours we spend analyzing the market, creating narratives, trying to figure out where big money was positioned and how they had to mitigate their positions. And now it's, you know, it might actually completely happen in front of our eyes. Like, we have to be careful that we don't start to believe too much in a certain thing. We have to be
right, absolutely.
And things could always change. That's very important. You know, if something starts to look like you're going to be completely right, you got to be very conservative about, you know, jumping the gun too early. But I'm just smiling at you fleshing out that ETH consolidation block, because it really is what I think too. I mean, we're all here in the end, we're all here to make some money.
Right,
and
absolutely.
the simple thought of making even more money than we did over the last couple of months, because is entertaining, and it's entertaining to share that with all these people who are watching and supporting us. So maybe on that note, we can quickly have a little look at BNB and then end our live stream. We only got one request, so I think we're good on that. You want to do that?
What you want to do? What, the BNB?
Or shall I go ahead? Like, I haven't looked at BNB for a while since it.
You know what? I haven't either. I actually have a chart here, and it looks like I'm just laughing at it because
I kind of lost interest on BNB
because I like BNB. BNB is a great project, but you know, when you miss a run, because I'll be honest, I did miss this run. I missed BNB. I missed this major, I don't even know how many percent run on BNB. So for me, you know, buying up here was real tough for me to even consider it, right? Because I really truthfully thought there was going to be a sell-off, but we didn't actually get that. But on my chart here, do you want to show yours or do you want to show mine?
Yeah, I'll just go through it a little bit. You know, BNB is at this level where I'm going to be interested in BNB if it's gonna go into price discovery again, which it looks like it might. We had zooming in, like if we zoom out, there's no levels here to the left that tell us anything about support. This high here is way down below. There is this little consolidation on the daily right here that should create a block below it where we have some support. And then other than that, on the daily, there's nothing much to be said. I kind of find it weird that you know, I'm not too sure. I'm not going to buy right here. I'm not going to speculate on the fact that it's going to break out, because honestly, what I see right here, there's supply. If it doesn't manage to break that supply, which is, I would say, is probably this range here. If anything right now, from a pure technical perspective, I would stay flat, honestly. Let's see. It's not always that easy just to chart something straight out of nowhere, but this green box should be resistance. If we manage to break above with decent volume, I'm gonna, I'm probably gonna buy some. But right here, right now, it could be distribution for all it takes. Like, we had a high here, we had another high here, we swept that high but got rejected. So let me put a little here. You see how we went through that level, and now it's trying to reclaim the high. But if it fails to reclaim the high, we did actually kind of break market structure by sweeping these lows. If it doesn't trade higher and gets rejected here, then these sweeps right here could actually signal that that Binance Coin is going to come down for a while. Which, I mean, let's be honest, it did a monster run, and it would not surprise me for it to cool down a little bit. And let's see, 705, 786 right here. It's right at resistance. You see, let me just take this away. This away.
I mean, yeah, there's a clean 3-day block up there that caused, the initial sell off. If you go to the 3-day, like, it's fairly clean. You with me? Jack? What just happened? Jack? I'm lagging or something. I can't hear him anymore. What's going on here? Oh, your mic froze. You can close the stream. Okay, cool. All right. I'll close it out. Just trying to, let's see. Can't hear. Can you guys hear me? You hear me, guys? Just want to confirm that. I think it's just his mic. Yeah, BNB's at resistance. Okay, so they do hear me. Okay, that's good. Jack, put it on my screen, if you don't mind. Jack's always having mic issues. Anyways, guys, on that note, we're just gonna close out here. I think that's best. We've actually come to a conclude anyways. We will, let's see, Scott in the back. Yeah, Scott. Yeah, he's chilling. Anyways, yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and conclude, guys. We'll be back next week and every week from here on out. I just want to say thank you to everyone that joined us today, as well as all the new CCT members. We look forward to working with you guys individually. If you guys got any questions or any concerns, feel free to message me directly in Discord. Directly, whatever you want to do, tag me in it, tag any Bravado analyst, will get to you. Yeah, we look forward to working with you guys. And on that note, I'll see you guys later, guys. Take care.